and welcome to another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt, the show where we dive deep into the journey of entrepreneurship with those who took the plunge and all the ups and downs that come with it. I'm your host, Dustin, and today we are recording at the Clayton Chamber of Commerce in the boardroom, which is a free feature that you can get if you become a member. And today we're meeting with Nils Schultz with Quality Kitchen Designs. Thank you for coming out today.
Hey, thanks for the invitation, Dustin.
I'm really excited. We had a little bit of trouble the first time we tried to do this. It's all a learning process, as it is being an entrepreneur. So we're trying it again in a new location. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up in Clayton, and where are you from?
To begin with, I'm actually from the country of Honduras, Central America. And when I was about 13, that was when my parents pretty much migrated to the USA. My dad had already been living in here for about a year, just kind of prepping the nest, so to speak. And so when we arrived, he went and picked us up over to Florida and brought us to North Carolina. And this is what I've known, my family and I. That's how pretty much I've had my effect in Clayton.
No, I get it. I've been here 5 years, but I've lived all over. I come from Florida. So tell us about what you do and how did you get into it?
Okay, so what I specialize on is not only countertop designs for homes, I also specialize in making sure the manufacturing and installation goes as smooth as possible. There's a lot of micromanaging involved in it, but in the trade skill, pretty much it all really revolves around the engineering aspect of it to make sure that a type of upgrade like this can actually go smooth. It's interesting that you're asking me this question. Just yesterday I was just thinking about the industry, how much it has changed, because when I was 2008, I graduated from Smithfield-Selma High School.
Wow, my son went there.
Yeah, the first trade that I was exposed to was the stone industry. I remember being at the shop, learning how to polish the stone. I remember how nerve-wracking it was the first time they told me, hey, get ready, you're gonna cut. Because the fabricator was not operating directly through a huge machine. We actually used to do handsaw cutting. So I would have to lay two rails on the huge piece of slab, and then the cutting machine was designed to be able to slide through the rail. So I had to kind of go, and I remember we would have a huge slab, which was a sheet of stone, right? And they would design a kitchen. The way a kitchen was designed in 2008 was people would take cardboards to your home, and they would lay a cardboard as a template, so to speak, on how they were going to accommodate the kitchen. So the guy who created the template would glue the pieces of cardboard in and would fold it nicely, make sure it doesn't get ripped up because then the template is messed up. And then they would clamp it on the sheets of stone and they would trace it with white out. I mean, you think, wow, it's really was the stone era. But, and then that's how we went about, manufacturing for a kitchen. Then definitely things have changed a lot, but then again, not too much from 2008 to 2016, because I kind of left the industry after 2.5 years, and then I kind of came back to it. The reason I came back to it was because it actually made me really excited when they told me, no, we don't do templates anymore with cardboard. We actually do them digitally, and I said, ooh, digital, what's that? And it took a couple of weeks of training, and then I realized, wow, this is fun. I like it. Pretty much now, things have evolved, not as much as you would expect with technology, but at least now they have implemented AutoCAD systems to the process of manufacturing the kitchen.
I was like, that's probably a lot easier to deal with.
Oh yeah, and it's so super fun, and it's so more precise. You think about, homeowners that are investing more than $1,000 on a kitchen project. I'm sure the moment you need to handle an investment that big, the first thought in everybody's mind is, how do I know I'm investing in the right source and that this is going to look good, especially after you hear and read all these horror stories about, no, countertop was not fitting. It took me more than 4 months to get it, and now I have to wait 2 extra weeks and still don't have a functional kitchen. It sounds crazy, but when you're being in that situation, then you realize, wow, this stuff is actually really real. So after so many years of being back in the industry, working with other big box stores, I had the opportunity to pretty much have an entry-level corporate position in one of the companies I was with. And they were always implementing new ideas, new approaches, which that's what any good business always does, right? They sit down every year and they think, okay, we did this last year, how we can do this better this upcoming year. And then they started kind of pushing a new method of sales, which was to, in-home services. But then COVID happened not too long after that. And then there was not so much in-home services. Now, I have been pretty much the face for one of the biggest companies all across North Carolina. And I did good. I mean, I was, top one here in the state. And that kind of opened me the doors to interact with some of the other top ones that were in the same position as I was with the company from other markets. I can think of one of them, my friend Nick from the area of Minnesota. He is just such a beast. He was like, oh man, we're not able to do it, right now. We're pushing it virtually right now. And I gave him a call and I said, talk to me a little bit about the virtual. And he gave me a couple of tips. Well, this is kind of how I do my approach, and it works. So I kind of followed that footstep here in the area, and guess what? Boom, 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 boom. Virtually started working too. and it was working. It was working then, but unfortunately, they were still pushing us to kind of get back to the original standard, and we were still during COVID times. It was a little disappointing because for us, we were like, wow, but virtually is working though. It's making a lot of people feel comfortable because a lot of people did not feel like, hey, we still got COVID. How do I know you don't have a bug, right? But anyhow, after all that time, at this point I was having more like 6 years in the industry, since I have been back in the industry. No, actually more like 7, 8. And I just started thinking, I think it's about time to kind of start branching out and kind of start looking for the opportunity to fit the need in a market that can really fit the needs of a homeowner. For example, if a homeowner doesn't feel comfortable with having a person inside home, then hey, if you own your own business, then you have control about the approach that you're going to do. Because that's what service truly, really means. Service is catering a need. And that's exactly the model that I follow when it comes to business affairs. Yes, it is business. There's an interchange of income, but at the same time, I am a person that's offering a service to try to cover a need. So if I'm offering a service, I need to learn how to be adaptable. I need to learn how to work with the homeowners to cater what they really need. So waiting till COVID started opening allowed the opportunity not only to branch out, but also to start, pushing the in-home services, which through the years, he was like, you're my friend. I know other businesses would have not let me do it. I said, oh, I trust you. Go ahead, do it. Like the in-home consultation versus the standard process of countertop purchase, the way it used to be since 2008, and I'm sure it was a little worse before, really allows to create a good expectation to set for a homeowner. At present, well, everybody's just used to what has been done for the last almost 20 years on purchase, right? But the interesting thing about technology, it always innovates and it always creates different, easier avenues, kind of like having to create a new highway, make things more efficient. And I saw the opportunity once things started opening up after COVID. And it just works. When you're inside home, you have a professional that understands the functionality of stone, how it works, how it runs, how the material is. You have an expert inside of your home that's telling you, hey, you know what? Your kitchen will need maybe joints because it over exceeds the size of the slab. These are the options for those joints. That's something that you're able to get at a home service where you don't get when you do a standard purchase, where they're only going to send one person one time, and that person dictates, where the kitchen and how the kitchen is going to work, where there could possibly be two other ways, and those two other ways can affect the price as well.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people do not know, but the in-home service allows the person to be educated. Oh, wow. So you're telling me we can do this joint in this area and the price drops $800? Let's do it.
Everybody loves a good deal and getting that personalized customer service.
Yeah.
And that's very important, especially in home services. Like, I own a cleaning company. I understand that we were also affected by COVID because I started the month before in the shutdown. And I was like, So when you said that, I'm like, I'm aware. We felt that.
Yeah.
But you were able to pivot, and that's what's important about being an entrepreneur, is being able to pivot and know when to and how to. So I feel like sometimes we get stuck in our ways and we're like, no, I've always done it. Yes, but now there's a new thing presenting. So.
Yeah. And I'd say we're always trying. We all gotta face making decisions on a daily basis, and sometimes we know we have to make a decision. We just don't know if it's gonna be the right decision. But sometimes doing something is still better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. They say done is better than perfect.
Okay, wow, never heard that one.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm here to share knowledge.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, so pretty much moving forward where we at now, the service is actually very much more streamlined. I'll give you a good example. This weekend, I just had my new website launched last week on Monday, and which I was very excited about.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and last Friday, I had the first person that actually sent me a request for an estimate online. And all the homeowner said was, I have a problem. I have an island that needs to be replaced ASAP. And how soon can you come to my house? It needs to be done quick. And then, fortunately, I have my wife that's helping me as an office assistant right now. She got up on it. And I remember I was just running around 9 p.m. Friday, just like, hey, I think there's a job for tomorrow. It's like, oh wow, really? Okay. And I was just like, okay, reach out to the homeowner. And I called the homeowner Saturday the next day, and they were like, okay, come on over to my house. I made it there around 10 a.m. When I showed up, I was just like, oh, okay, I imagine you probably just want to do something small right now, just for sampling. So maybe later on down the line, you may want to match it up with a kitchen. Sometimes some people do that, right? So I was just asking. And the homeowner said, yeah, do you have like something white? And I was just like, yeah, how quick can your turnaround be? I was like, well, you got your templater today. So after today, I can have your new island within the next 5 to 10 business days at most, you know? And just like, okay, wow. All right, so, this is what the homeowner said. My biggest struggle with this situation was that our contractor damaged the countertops. So that's why I need this ASAP. And the worst part about it is, we had already gotten quotes other places, and everybody's telling me I'm not gonna have my knee replacement until close to November. And I was like, okay, and I understand the process of why. And I was like, wow, yikes. And then she said, hey, you know what? The other issue I had was nobody really wants to take my job because it's only a small island.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, So I guess if the fish is not fat, it's not good enough, huh?
Yeah.
So, and I said, well, and that kind of goes back to the same principle I brought up earlier. You're providing a service. What's the point of being a business if you can cater something small? Sometimes the small things are the big emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So then she said to me, I was like, well, no, don't worry. This is what I'm here for, to help you with your situation. And she said, you know what? I actually want to do the whole entire kitchen.
That's amazing.
And we tackled all of it. Just yesterday, I pushed in the project to fabrication, and she was so excited when I texted her and I told her, by the way, next Friday we can leave and still have that work. She's like, great, I get to have my new kitchen before Thanksgiving. And
just so important.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with a operational kitchen that's already damaged, and you have to see that damage every day. You think about the expense you go to a house, right?
I was say they say that renovating a kitchen will make or break a marriage. So like I can imagine it's close to the holidays how that would feel.
Oh man, yeah, nerve-wracking. So that right there exemplifies what the joy that I get out of walking out of a home, and I'm like, wow, here I am, catering a situation, and And that's what keeps me going. I mean, I've had countless of experience similar like that I've, through the years that I've been in the industry. And nothing really makes my day, honestly, to see the satisfaction that a person has when they were able to have a need like this covered. And I can look back and say, well, I did my job. Yes, I did my job. And I sugarcoated it and took care of it to the best that I could.
Oh, absolutely, and that's great. I think customer service makes or breaks a business, honestly, because you could be the best in the business, but if your customer service sucks, nobody cares.
Yeah, I've heard that happen.
Yeah, and that's why I pride myself on my customer service. I'm going to answer you right away. I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of, your questions are answered, and you feel comfortable hiring me and maintaining a relationship with me.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing with you, and I love that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you come on the podcast to share. See, we have very similar values.
Yes, I really appreciate it. Well, I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. So let's jump into your ready moment that made you do this. What was the thing that was like, I want to go and I want to do countertops?
Well, like I said, I have already been in the industry. But the other thing is, when since I specialize in the engineering aspect of it, I guess it kind of touched my younger feelings. When I was a kid, I used to love drawing. I still remember my teacher grabbing my books. I used to love drawing Marvel comic heroes. One time, one of my teachers ripped every single drawing I had. But that was my passion. I was like, wow, I discovered something in me. And being in the engineering side, of my labor, given the fact that I've done some of the other sides of the trade, right? It's kind of like it rediscovered me again, like, whoa, this is what I used to do when I was a kid and how much I used to enjoy it. So here I am making sure that I'm handling dimensions up to spec according to the exact layout of a functional home. And the most exciting part about it is the end result. When it gets manufactured and it's installed, and I'm here looking at it like, wow, I custom made it. It's like, I couldn't put the sink in here anymore, make that cool.
See, that's what I love about cleaning. It's like I have a beginning product, a middle, and then an end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel satisfied after that.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, I made a difference.
Yeah, so that just realizing that a simple creature, me, out of this whole billion, humans in the whole entire universe, everything in life almost feels like a domino effect. One person does something, and it has a snowballing effect on other factors. And then I thought, wow, what's the snowballing effect I'm having? Hey, I'm implementing new ideas, introducing this method, this process. I'm introducing other practices that other people don't do. Or at least, the market at present hasn't gotten so accustomed to it. But because I had the opportunity to kind of, learn a little bit of the stuff they do a little bit in Europe, like in Spain, some of those looks that they do on the houses, I like introducing those ideas in the market.
I agree. I feel like everything is just so like copy and paste sometimes that you need that like intricate detail, and it just makes it so much more rich and luxurious. Like,
oh, yes.
That makes me happy. I'm really into Victorian and stuff like that. I want, details.
Yeah.
So.
I always say I ride with Cindy Crawford all along, because one of the major brands materials that I work with, Cindy Crawford is the name for it, so.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it's nice to be able to implement that, and like I said, it really goes back again to the excitement at home, and it feels like, wow, I didn't know you could do this much with this material, or you could do this, and I can have this in my home. And what I've noticed in my experience is what, if I can look back all the people that I've met in the industry, most people always want something they can say my house is different than the other person. Mm-hmm. It's like we're embedded with it, So being able to be in a position where, okay, let me see what I can do to help. And if I don't know the answers, let me go figure it out, but let me see what I can do.
So it makes you a great business person too, figuring it out.
Yeah, try to, I guess, try to do the right word, yeah.
No, it's great, because it's the same thing the last few questions, and I'm like, wow, I've never had that question asked to me before. Let me figure that out, and I will get back to you.
Yeah.
And you get better response than I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's great. I see that you brought a piece with you today. Do you want to tell us about this piece?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So, this is just a little sample of stone. What I really am fascinated about this is this is actually not really natural stone material. We got very natural products that people choose for their countertops, kitchen designers. Granite is the most common known. Quartzite is a very luxurious material that a lot of people choose over granite. It has better features than granite itself. And there are some quartzite materials out there in the market that a lot of people like working with because they have this effect material, more like a crystallized stone. That's almost how quartzite normally is. And some materials are actually translucent, meaning that you put lights under it and it's like, ooh, it glows, it looks so nice. There's a lot of homes in the area of Texas, California. They're doing this a lot much more often. I actually want to do that in my house too.
I think it's cool. I have LED lights everywhere.
Yeah, and this is the beauty about educating too. Like, all materials have properties. For example, there's materials like onyx. Onyx, white onyx colors can produce that effect. But unfortunately, certain onyx, certain marbles, even though they can be translucent, they look nice when you use the kitchen. But if you're the homeowner that always wants to do a good Thanksgiving, a good Christmas party, have people over, cook, you're constantly using your kitchen. Unfortunately, material does tend to wear out.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it looks nice with some cool lights and then it glows at night, then you start thinking about the practicality of it. I'm like, well, I really need a functional kitchen, and I'm gonna toss turkey and stuff on it. I don't want it to damage. It's a big investment. So that's where the deciding factor comes. Okay, well, I like this material, but maybe I'm not gonna use it because I think for me, my home needs, the kitchen is more practical. But then this is a new material that's in the market right now. It's actually engineered quartz. In the way they designed this color, they designed this material to have the similar properties that you would find in quartzite stone, the translucent colors. So I love it because now you're able to have engineered material that's actually much more resilient to use. Like, this material is so strong. If, let's say, you're cutting on top of it with your knives will lose the sharpness.
Can you place a hot pot on it?
You can put a hot pot on it, but unfortunately, it's not like quartzite or granite. See, granite and quartzite can handle, up to 2,000 Celsius heat. If you were to put a pot in that hot, whereas quartz, since it's engineered quartz, has 99% recycled material, and the other percentage is actually resins, polymers, then that's what actually can affect the material. If you were to put something really hot, it can handle like most maybe 200, 200 Fahrenheit in heat. But of course, you won't want to leave it too long because maybe it could leave a stain. So, it has its properties as well, But particular this sample is actually a new color out there that it just got released this year. And like I said, it excited me because now it comes with some of those properties that you would find in natural stone, and it has this little effect. See how you can?
Yeah, show the camera.
See how you can do if you put a little light behind.
I think it is so pretty. I have countertops in my house like that.
And now, not only can you do the LED lighting on it. For me, when I saw this, I said, "Oh, I'm actually going to do that for my island because my island is my place to pray." And I like that light too. Mm-hmm. And I've been wanting to have that light too. So now I'm able to have that nice, cool little feature on an investment that is actually a little less expensive than what quartzite would be, and on a resilient product.
That's important. The reason I asked about the pot thing is when I was a kid, we had I feel like they were like laminate. You probably just peel it off and then it was wood, right? Mm-hmm. This is back in the 90s, that's how old I am. And my dad would be like, don't put the hot pot on the thing, right? And so when I moved into my brand new house that I got, 5 years ago, I did it. I was like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about that now. Yeah, I'm really excited because, I've got kids and kids tend to just do things sometimes that don't make sense. It is what it is. So I was like, cool, that's one less thing we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Instead of in the house I grew up in, we also had the cabinets that had the same where it was peeling up. Uh-huh. Terrible. No knobs at all. It was just the cabinet.
Yeah.
I grew up in Florida. They have a whole different style.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, but it was actually a really good question though, because that's actually a very common question that I do have
Oh, okay.
in my infant services as well. And even though per se my favorite product would probably be engineered quarters, maybe for a homeowner, natural granite stone is probably, and that's why both materials are very competitive in the market up till yet, because some people like the natural looks in their homes, whereas other people are like me. They care about, functionality. I want to cut tomato, I want to cut this, grab a little lasso wipe and just whoop.
I've never thought about that. I've always used the cutting board just because it's easier to lift it up and put,
Yeah.
in the pot or whatever.
Yeah, and to be honest, I still have a cutting board too.
Yeah.
Courtesy of my wife, she says, well, not just because the material has been designed to handle the cutting doesn't mean you should do it.
I love her already. Because that's me. I'm like, just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so, that's why I enjoy this, because that's that area where I'm at home. I'm not here to give you something just because I want to sell. I'm here to really give you and direct you and help you, guide you, make a decision that you're going to feel like, I did this upgrade in my house. If I were to be able to do it again, I would love to do it again. That's how smooth the process went. And I'm happy with what I got.
And that also gets you more referrals too, because if somebody had a great experience with you, they're going to tell everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
They'll also do that if they had a bad experience. So
Yeah, it always has a snowball effect one way or the other.
absolutely. So I say customer service is very important, guys.
Yeah.
So how do you measure success? I mean, obviously, profit is the goal of business, but how do you measure success in your life and in your business?
That's a very good question. I wish I would have gotten prepared about it on that one. But that's good. I guess I get to think about it. For a couple of seconds. How do I measure success? I think my answer would be when you see that your business is growing. So far, I've survived for 2 years and a half, and I'm intending to keep it that way. And a lot of people are actually becoming more avert about, there's this service. And before, when I started, it was like 1, 2, 3 people. Now it's like 4 or 5 people. People coming over telling me, hey, I want to work with you because I just like your process. I'm at home and a person says, well, you're telling me this is going to be like this and that. Yes, I appreciate your process already. That's allowing me to see where is this succeeding right now, and on the long term, where it can become. Part of that success, I also give it to my team. Mm-hmm. That team includes my wife. That team also includes the guys that I work with that make all of this happen, whether they are the ones that follow my specs, right? Because they could just do their own thing. Or
the choice.
Exactly. Or whenever my guys are on site doing the installations, we communicate.
That's very important, especially on a team project.
Yes, and I'll tell you something. I'm so proud of my team. Earlier this year, unfortunately, I had a relative that passed away in the Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands. Yeah, it was very last minute. I'm sure all of us can relate. None of us are really ready for when a loved one passes away. And I had a couple of projects already in motion. When I heard that I had to leave the United States to go and visit my, pretty much at this point go to the funeral and support my relatives, I just did. My wife, when I got hands-on, when I got my ticket, I communicated that problem with my team. I communicated that problem with everybody, including the guys who were handling the jobs that I had already submitted to getting cut. And this is where I count success. This is where I count my blessings too. They all said, we understand, don't worry, just tell us exactly everything you need us to do. We'll follow to the letter, every single letter to the degree you're asking. Go and bury your aunt. Be at peace, come back, we're taking care of it. And I said to my wife, I never had any man talking to me that way. I was like, that's why I take care of my people. So, success is, in my opinion, success is really defined by the way others contribute towards you and your circumstances. I'm not here just because I'm putting work or I believe in the in-home service. I mean, I do believe I'm putting some work on it, right? But I'm here thanks to the collaboration that I have from others, the time that others have taken with me. I'm here because even teachers that I had in high school, even people who have mentored me, even good friends that are builders that have educated me, they all have been kind of like the backbone direction. So, I'm here thanks to their collaboration. So part of that success is not because I'm putting in work, it's actually accredited to them. And that's why I try to keep that in mind when dealing with, any particular projects, when I'm individually interacting with them. So anything that I can do for them, as a company, as an individual person, is my way of saying, hey, I appreciate everything you've been doing for me, and it's thanks to you that this is still working. So I try to always keep it in there. It's thanks to them. They're my core.
That's important too, making sure that you have a team that supports you and believes what you believe. So having that is worth its weight in gold, honestly. As a person who has tried to hire and people don't necessarily believe what I believe, it just did not work out well, and that's still something that I'm still figuring out. So I'm really glad that you found a good crew that supports you and believes in you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can all move forward.
I just count that as a blessing.
You should, as you should, honestly. And so speaking of that, tell us what your main marketing strategy is right now. Networking, obviously. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm actually planning a couple of campaigns through Facebook. Talking back about that background, right? I actually have a very good friend he actually lives in Texas.
Mm.
He's actually my guy that does my whole entire media stuff. And he took courses in college. And when he found out that I had a business running, he was like, dude, I want to help you and I want to be part of that.
See, that's great. So we're about the relationships that you've built.
Yeah, I mean, we've been friends since he was 16 years old. And, sometimes life happens. He had to relocate out of North Carolina. His name is Daniel. And, we kind of lost a little bit of touch because, of course, here I am with life and my family and all that stuff. And, but we still have other friends and relatives from their behalf that I'm very good friends in this area as well. And so it turned out, he didn't have as much work over there, but I said, no, that's fine. He's like, I've known you my whole life, and so I trust you, and I'm here, like, I'm glad that you trust me, because I know you, I got your back too. So he's like, how about we do this for your website? How about we do this for your business? So we're actually planning on doing a campaign, to launch a campaign soon. I don't want to talk about it because it's going to be a surprise. I like surprises. Yes, and of course, network is always a very important aspect of business. I don't think I've met anybody in a corporate ladder position that's business owner that doesn't take time to network. I think network is the sustaining in life for everything. Life revolves around relationships.
I agree 100%. I was just talking yesterday to a friend who owns a business and completely different business, but I was having a problem and I told him about it, and he gave me 7 different solutions to the problem that I'd never even thought about, and even told me to back away from a decision that I thought was good for me. He's like, no, because that doesn't make sense now, does it? And he talked me through it, and I was like, oh, so had I not networked and brought this up to him, I would have been still sitting here like, oh, what am I going to do?
Exactly. And you know what I find the beauty about network? I had this experience. When I was in corporate, in the position that I had before in one of the companies that I work with. So a couple of years ago, one of the biggest distributors nationwide for stone material opened a couple of accounts here with a new food store. That actually happened during COVID. I think it was early 2020. So some of those accounts were given to the company that I was being subbed out by. And they brought somebody from the corporate ladder. She actually had the experience of working directly with Lowe's. She very top position at Lowe's. but she had just got out of Lowe's. Now she was working at a corporate level with a company, the distributor company. So they wanted to come and educate us. And one of the things that she would always emphasize was knowledge is power, knowledge is key. And I appreciate that mentorship that she gave us, because they wanted to kind of learn. She took some time to go to Minnesota, Florida, North Carolina. She wanted to learn to take back to corporate what was the individual face of the company that was handling in-home services. What were they doing? What were their methods to generate more market and more sales? And I was just glad that I had the opportunity to interact with her, because I thought about it and I said, it's true. We hinder ourselves when we close our doors to new methods, new approaches, and that was what she was in here for. Even though they would say in COVID, well, we wanted the in-home service, but you guys are doing virtual sales now. Well, I mean, if 2 plus 2 equals 4, okay, let us see. She gave the example right in person, right? So when we're networking, sometimes whether we may be interacting with somebody that it's in the same trade skill as we are, whether you may be an insurance professional, there's possibly an approach or another method that another insurance company does that learning about it can contribute to the efficiency of what you do already for homeowners. Or sometimes, like you said before, you're interacting with this individual that has this in a particular or other field compared to what you are. And this person has all this vast knowledge that you're just limited to the stuff that you know, and now you're getting yourself educated. It's expanding your world, it's expanding your horizon.
It is. We've got about 5 minutes, so I just want to let you know that. I'll edit that out. But you're absolutely right, and that is something that I didn't really even think about, is reaching out to somebody who was in a completely different industry to get their perspective on what I should do. And they're also pivoting their own business and doing something completely different. Yeah. So it was great to be able to have that feedback and have that knowledge.
Yeah. We all grow that way. We really do.
I think so too, and I think that me networking for this business, since 2020, I have grown so much. I went from not knowing what my 30-second was going to be, not knowing who my ideal client is, to now I have narrowed everything down. I feel like I know my process. And if it wasn't for these individuals, I wouldn't be there. So just going out there, somebody once told me it isn't a factor of figuring out how you're going to do something, it's figuring out who's going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense in business.
Yes.
So do you have any advice for anybody who is wanting to get out there and become an entrepreneur?
My advice would be, if you have a dream, believe in it, explore the areas in the environment where you live in, where you can find the opportunity to carry that dream. Do not allow anyone to hinder you or discourage you. You will never know when that idea or that dream may become the revolutionizing factor that can change everybody else's life. Believe in those ideas. That's what I would say.
And one last thing, you can look at the camera and tell people where they can find you, your website, your phone number, all of that.
Hello. I'm Nils Schultz. I can be found really easily. You can just visit www.qualitykt.com. That would be my website. I can be reached out either through my working phone number, 919-862-6469, for any services, even any advice, anything I can do to help, or text message. Email is n.schultz@qualitykt.com. Nils Schultz, Quality Kitchen Designs. This is where we turn your kitchen into the centerpiece of your home.
I love that. It's part of your 30-second.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt.